welcome to today's Cancer Healing Journey Talks. Myself, Annie Joss from Community Outreach Team of ZenOnco.io and Love Heals Cancer. Cancer Healing Journey Talks helps cancer survivors and caregivers to share their journey with vast number of survivors and caregivers who have traveled or been traveling through this journey. This can inspire and motivate them for their faster recovery as well. I would like to introduce today's speaker, Chrissy Lomax. She is a cancer survivor. So, welcome to today's session, Chrissy. So, can you start with a small introduction of yourself?
Thank you so much for inviting me to be here today. Well, my name is Chrissy Lomax. I am originally from Canada, Ontario, Canada, and I currently live in Southern California. And I have spent my life being a musician and also a fitness professional, a Pilates instructor and a personal trainer, and helping people get fit and healthy and living a lot of different kind of jobs, always different jobs. And in July of 2017, I had an interruption in my life when I was diagnosed with HER2 positive breast cancer. So everything changed on that day. And I am coming up now this July on my 5 years since diagnosis. So it's been a long time. And in that time, I really went through a lot of changes and wrote a book about it to help everyone I can either avoid getting that call in the first place or making it through a cancer journey better and coming out the other end better, healthier.
So, what were the initial symptoms?
When I was diagnosed? Well, it's really funny. I write about it in the book. I always thought, just go for the mammogram. It was just one of those things you had to do, the women's wellness exam and get all these things done. And I never expected anything because there's no breast cancer in my family. Cancer, yes. My mother died at only 41 years old from colon cancer, 9 weeks after she was diagnosed. So, and cousins and a lot of cancer in my family, or even with, some friends, but never breast cancer in my family. And that's something I didn't expect. And the day I was scheduled to go for my mammogram, I just stood in front of the mirror and looked at my naked self and raised my arms up and down and saw something different on one side that I never saw before. And when I raised my arms, it changed shape. So going into the mammogram, I was suspicious that there was something there. And that was on a Friday morning. I had no pain. I had no other symptoms besides just seeing this that morning of my mammogram. And that was a Friday morning. And I went through the weekend. It was a very busy, exciting weekend with family visiting. And on Monday morning, right away at 8 a.m., UCLA called and said, we need more images. So it happens fast. Our lives change very quickly.
So how was your emotional well-being when you got to know that you're diagnosed with cancer?
Oh, how emotional was I?
Yes.
I was. I also knew that I had to right away take control over what I could take control over. That I wasn't going to just throw it in the ballpark. I was going to do what I could. So suspecting that there could possibly be cancer, I had to go for more images, and then those images would determine if I had to go for biopsies. So there are many steps you go through which make it many days of waiting. And the waiting is really challenging. And right away I learned to remain present. Right away I learned to remain present so that I could handle it emotionally. Because you can't think too far ahead. You don't know what's going to be happening too far ahead. You have to be present. This is what I've got now. I feel fine now. Let me take control over what I can, make these appointments and go and see what I have to do next. So I took it one step at a time. Images were right away the very next day after they called me. went for the next group of images. And that was a very aggressive mammogram for that. Painful, yes. And then from there, it was recommended to go for biopsies. And it's interesting because it's up to you. It was up to me to make the appointments for the biopsies. It was up to me where, when, and even if, because I know some people don't go further than that and they just wait. So I realized that I had to just take this on like a job. I have a new job now. And the new job is called Beat Cancer, and do what you can to make it out of this healthy. And so I booked the biopsies as soon as I could and got that done. And then it was another 7 days of waiting and wondering. And finally, we did get that call that yes, you have breast cancer. And even at that, you're still waiting to find out the pathology of what kind of breast cancer. There are many kinds. Some people just think, oh, breast cancer is breast cancer. No, there are many kinds of breast cancer, which require many different kinds of treatment, and everybody's body is different and everybody's journey is different too. So right away, the first thing I did was take control over what I could, and I got organized. And decided to really clean up my act, and eliminated sugar from everything I was eating, and decided anything that could possibly feed this beast was not going to go into my body or onto my body. That's what I did.
Yeah, that's great. So how did your family took the news?
My family, it was really hard and very scary. And you can see, as soon as I was fine until you mentioned my family. And this is when I now got emotional when you said that, because family is everything. And the last thing you want them to do is worry about you, right? You want them to know you're okay. You want them to know that you're feeling strong and you're going to make it through this, even though my mother didn't. They were there the whole way through. And so what I did to ensure the family that I am doing okay emotionally and physically, I told them everything that was going on through newsletters. So weekly or even twice a week, I would write a very, very long, involved newsletter with everything that I had been going through with my appointments, and what this oncologist said, and what happened here, and how I felt there, and what I did here, and what I ate there, and kept them all on top of what I was going through, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that part of my journey was really important for me to write it out, because sometimes when you're challenged with something, and let's face it, going through a cancer journey, you get challenged emotionally many times. You're lying in bed there, sometimes you can't move, and even watching TV is too hard. You can't read, you just feel like blah. So you're thinking, and you're in that tunnel, the tunnel of your life, waiting to get out the other side. So you have your good days in between the treatments, and you're in that tunnel and you're thinking, and it's like, this is the tunnel of your life. And you think about a lot of things,
Right.
including all of the family. Yes. So I would write these letters and tell them everything that was going on in emails. I also did that with my friends. I also did that with my clients, because I am a fitness trainer and Pilates instructor. So they could see what I was going through and hear from what it was like going through something like this. I was looking at all the positives along the way, and sharing all of that so everybody could see what it was like. And that really inspired me, that I wanted to take it further. And that's when I wrote my book. The day I finished treatment, 1 year of treatment was, when I started writing my book, Another Interruption. about everything that I went through and the steps I took to be as healthy and fit as I could be during treatment and then coming out after treatment. Yeah.
Can you please elaborate more on what treatments you had during the cancer journey?
Yes. I had treatment first, and then the surgery would follow treatment if it was needed. And I was hoping that it wasn't needed. In the end, yes, I needed surgery after my 6 rounds of treatment, and then radiation would follow. So my treatment was six rounds of 4 drugs. Carboplatin, Perjeta, Taxotere, and Taxotere was the chemotherapy. That was the aggressive one. And then Herceptin. And Herceptin was the targeted therapy. That was the targeted therapy, Herceptin. And I would have that on day 1. And then day 2, 3, and 4, I would have hydration. And the hydration would be about an hour or so of hydration in the IV or in my port, so that I would be able to handle the side effects a lot better from the chemotherapy. It would keep my body hydrated. Dehydration is pretty sickening, yes. I would also have on day 2 a shot called Neulasta. And the Neulasta shot on day 2 would help with boosting up my white blood cells. So it was important to get that on day 2 of treatment every round to help boost my white blood cells to keep me stronger. But there were side effects from that Neulasta shot as well. And one of them was bone pain. And that did get me very seriously. I think it was after my 2nd treatment. I think it was after my 2nd treatment, maybe 3rd. But it all worked all together. You have to hang in there, do what you can, to stay as healthy as you can be. And I had this thought to myself, the days when I felt really sick, I would think, oh, the treatment's working really good today. When I felt really poorly, I thought, oh, that means it's working good. Yeah. And so I had to reframe a lot of things, the way I thought about them. Yeah.
That's great. So did you try any alternative treatments like naturopathy, anti-cancer diet, anything like that?
What I ate changed completely. Right away, the day that I got a call and they said, yes, you do have cancer, sugar was eliminated. And that means sugar that is added sugar. So I read my labels, and I'm very diligent about not putting sugar into my body, which means alcohol is not in my body at all. So no more glasses of wine or anything like that. Not worth it. It's just not worth it to me. Toxic free. I want to live this toxic free lifestyle for the rest of my life. And not only, to keep my cells as healthy as possible, but I exercise a lot as a Pilates instructor and personal trainer. But I was a marathon coach, a marathon race walk coach for 16 years. And that did a lot of damage to my joints, especially my knees and my poor feet. So, and with age and arthritic bones and injuries, it's really good to live a toxic-free, sugar-free lifestyle, because there's less inflammation in our bodies, and that makes a big difference. So I live a sugar-free, cancer-free life, and a lot of fruits and vegetables. I live mostly plant-based, yes, and I think of food as medicine. And my relationship with food really did change, because I lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight because of the way I changed my lifestyle. And yes, I did get sick in chemo, and I did go through that. And I had chemocolitis, which is not that's a very challenging thing. And, but in the end, I still kept to a very clean living way of eating. And I just always homemade everything at home. Yeah, it's rare we eat out because you can just stay so much healthier at home and load up. And I got a Vitamix. I love making shakes with berries and spinach and kale, and it's great. Yeah, food is medicine. I used to live to eat. Now I eat to live. Right? I used to be about 50 pounds heavier, and just this lifestyle, it's not coming back because 13 cancers can be caused by obesity. Yes, I was fit, but I was also too fat. There was too much fat on my body, too much weight. So, obesity can cause 13 different cancers. So we have to get our bodies lean. We have to get our bodies strong. We have to be ready for whatever may be around the corner. We don't know what it is. We have to just be ready for it, right? Yeah.
That's great. That's true that, it's not necessary that we have to actually eat to live. So that's the right thing. So that's a good way that you have brought it up.
Yeah.
So that was wonderful.
Yes, for sure. Yes, food is medicine. Absolutely.
Right, Chrissy. So, who was your support system throughout the journey?
Wow, my husband was there by my side. Every appointment, he was there supporting me all the way. I had family arriving because we have little family here. We're from Canada, and my sister at that time, she lived in Hong Kong. So she even came from Hong Kong. My nieces came from London, England. Everybody came from all over. And we have a very small place, but because it's family, we just figured it out. And it was just great to have everyone here. Yeah, I had them come on the days that I knew I was going to be pretty good, because you get to know days you're going to feel bad, and the days you're going to feel good, when to plan things and when not to plan things. You learn that when you start your treatment. Yeah.
Very true. So,
and
about your experience with...
Yes?
Sorry, you continue.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So what about your experience with the doctors and the other medical staff? I
had the dream team. I was so lucky. I had the most amazing dream team. My journey actually started way back when I lost my mother from colon cancer, and I was young. And in that moment, I thought, she was so young at 41 years old. So I started to want to raise money to help research, for cancer research. And when I moved here to California, in 1989, 1990. And I continued my journey of raising money for cancer research. I ended up becoming a part of a group that raised funds for research at UCLA in California, in Los Angeles. So I was dragged. I did not want to go to this lecture, and I was dragged to this lecture at UCLA by the president of our chapter of the Johnson Cancer Center Foundation that raised funds for research. She said, "You have to come hear this amazing oncologist. He's amazing, and he's discovered the first gene-targeted therapy." Okay, I'll go. So I went, and you know what? I was blown away, and I was so inspired. Dr. Susan Love, she introduced Dr. Dennis Slayman, and he talked about the first gene-targeted therapy for the most aggressive breast cancer, but he needed more money for FDA approval. So I have to tell you, Annie, I went home so inspired. I thought, oh, what do I do? So I made a cookbook, and then I sold it out of the trunk of my car, everywhere I could, and raised money to go towards the FDA approval of this drug. And no breast cancer in my family, but I thought this has to be a big deal if it's the first gene-targeted therapy, right? So I have to
Right.
help. So this was great. So that was 1995 that I did this cookbook to help raise money for that. This drug was FDA approved for all people with this cancer, breast cancer, metastatic only metastatic patients in 1998. And then it took 12 more years, 2010, until this drug was approved for all people diagnosed with this aggressive breast cancer. 7 years later, I was diagnosed with that aggressive breast cancer that's called HER2 positive breast cancer. And the drug that helped save my life, the drug that I published that cookbook for all those years ago, Herceptin, was the drug. Crazy. And my oncologist, Dr. Ashuri at UCLA, he was one of the oncologists, one of the research scientists on this Herceptin. He was on the team for Herceptin. And my radiation oncologist, Dr. Paul Miller, was also on the team for Herceptin. I was very lucky. Yes.
That's wonderful. So, what were the things that made you happy on this journey?
What made me happy were funny TV shows. Yes. And so anything that went on TV had to be a comedy. I'm telling you, I watched so many funny shows and laughed so hard. And my pet, I think pets are so important for us to have. And I have an African gray parrot, Stewie, and he was by my side the whole time, and he's very funny. So, and then having my family and my friends visit, and during my good days, when I felt good, when we would go out and sit outside and laugh a lot, just laugh a lot. And with my family, we laugh a lot. Also, writing and music. And I am a singer-songwriter, and music was a big part of my healing journey. And when I had the energy, because some of the drugs, I believe it was the carboplatin, was challenging on your lungs for breathing. So when it was good, I had good days where I could breathe well. You know, I had no hair, no wig, and my pajamas and bare feet. And we have a recording studio in our place here. I could go in there and record some vocals when I could, and work on songs too about this journey, which we did. And so I recorded a whole new CD that came out the same time as the book. And the CD's called Another Interruption too. And there's songs that are specific to my journey, and a couple of songs that one of which was on my first CD. But when I was diagnosed, and I wrote it for my girlfriend I lost to breast cancer, and Susie. And then when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, that song took on a whole new meaning. So I had to re-record it with a different feeling, you know, with layers of harmonies to represent the layers of emotion and the layers of everything I went through in that whole year of treatment to make it through. Yeah. So music is very healing. Music is healing. I had coloring books. You know, so creative, getting a way to be creative, get a book and start writing it out to get it out. It's so healing for us. Yes. And I really enjoyed acupuncture for the first time. I really enjoyed that, and meditation. And so all of these new ways I wanted to take care of the three most important superstars of our well-being, and that is to nurture ourselves, to nourish ourselves, and to move ourselves. All three of those. And so yeah, I experienced some new things, and I'm still here and feeling pretty strong. Yes.
That's great. So there might be some times, right, when you feel like it's too much to handle and you don't want to go on. So what were the things that you did during that time? Yeah, something like, okay, so some days it's very hard for you.
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
because of the chemotherapy symptoms.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So what did you do at that on days?
I would tell myself that the drugs are really working well. The drugs are doing their job. They are kicking this cancer, you know where, yeah. And I would think that, and a lot of times nutrition was a part of that as well. There were a couple scary times when I got a little dehydrated, and hemoglobin gets low, and you have no energy. You can barely walk. Yeah, nutrition is a huge part of getting the emotions better as well. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with cannabis as well, and it's legal here in California, and if that is going to help you with your anxiety, because yes, fear will try to take over. Fear will. And you always have, it's always going to be there, right? The doubt. Because you know what? We told my mother, we knew that she wasn't going to survive because she was so loaded with cancer. And when she said, am I going to live? We said, yes, you are, Mom. And we knew she wouldn't, so there was a few times when I thought maybe they're lying to me,
Right.
but you had to take a look at that and say, okay, well, I have to do everything I can right now, and to get rid of those fearful thoughts, because they're not going to help you heal. Positive energy helps us heal. Positive energy gives us a better attitude, right? Yeah. So I would have a notepad beside me all the time and a pen. I had a little station set up beside me, coloring book, crayons, mobile phone charger, humidifier, all the things that you can use, that if you really can't get up, at least you have everything you need there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges, there's many challenges you go through physically, from nosebleeds because your hair falls out. So your hair falls out of your nose too, and then if you blow your nose, whoa, look out, your nose just bleeds. So there's certain things you can do to prevent that. Your gums are hurting, and your head hurts, and your head gets cold. I mean, there's all kinds of weird things that happen. You just, so write about it.
Right. So, did you make any lifestyle changes during or after the treatment?
Completely lifestyle changes, yes. I do spend more time to be grateful daily, whether it's in writing or whether it's in meditation, just sitting quietly. I will never put anything toxic in my body or on my body. And I have some guides that I use. We have the Environmental Working Group that does all of this research. So it shows you which cleaning products aren't good and which is toxic. Skincare and makeup are so important. In the United States, there are so many toxins that are allowed to be in personal care products. That I know even my family in Canada, they have different laws and rules there, what's allowed there than here. So it's about doing research, and being aware of what you're putting in your body and on your body. And that's something that changed for me completely. And I read labels for everything. Yes. And I want to do what I can to not ever get cancer back. I want to do everything within my power to not get cancer back. I know before I had too much fat on my body. And as I said earlier, 13 cancers, maybe more, excuse me, can be caused by obesity. Maybe that gave me cancer. Also, I was very stressed. I was busy like crazy, and maybe not taking enough time to follow my dreams, and take care of me first, always everybody else maybe, and too much stress. So those are things that I really work hard on not getting back. never getting that extra weight back to invite cancer, and keeping my life as stress-free as possible. That's the most challenging part, I think.
That's
Yes.
true. Right. So, yeah. So, what will be your message to the survivors and caregivers out there?
My message to survivors and caregivers: everybody thrive today. We have today. We have to remain present and focus on what we have happening for us now and just thrive in it, and never give up our dreams. Never. Always keep doing what you have dreamed to do. Always. It's so important. It's so important. You know, I am 62 years old, and next month I'm going on a rock and roll tour with a whole bunch of other bands from the 80s. Yeah, I'll be playing electric guitar and singing with the band that I was in the 80s, with all of these bands you may or may not know, like Flock of Seagulls and all of these bands that I'm not sure if you would know they are. But you know, so this has happened since I came out of this whole tunnel of treatment and made a decision that I wasn't going to put my musical career on a back burner anymore. And I was going to write a book, and I was going to do this. And that's my message, is we just have to look at, hey, what are we doing? Let's do what we really are supposed to be doing, right? Somehow. Yeah.
Very true. So, do you think cancer has changed you in a positive way? It's a funny question. I know that yeah, it has. So, but please explain how it changed you in a positive way, so that it will be helpful to the viewers.
How cancer has changed me in a positive way?
Yeah.
Yes. Cancer has changed me in many positive ways. Many positive ways. I realize that everybody's cancer journey is different. Everybody's cancer is different. Everybody, whether it's breast cancer, doesn't matter what cancer, everybody's cancer is different. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's. And that's something that I really learned. And I learned what not to say to a cancer patient because of things that were said to me. And I learned to never dismiss a cancer patient by comparing them to somebody you know that went through cancer. Never dismiss a cancer patient. Yeah. Understand. It's a fight. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, did you join any support group during your cancer journey?
Oh, I did visit our Cancer Support Community Center. They did an event there for wigs and how to do wraps around your head and makeup, and so that was interesting. But I really didn't. I think I really spent time writing and looking for that support group within my network of friends. And during my healthy days, when I felt good and I was excited to put on, I wore wigs because it was so much fun. I had perfect hair with wigs. And so I would put on a fun wig and makeup and an outfit, and we would go and sit outside, and it was so nice. So that was my support community, were my friends and my family that were visiting. And that made a huge difference. Yeah. I felt safe too. Yes.
That's wonderful. So, you know, right, there are lots of stigmas regarding various types of cancer all around the world. People are still not open about different types of cancer. So, the awareness will definitely help for all those things. So, how much do you think is the importance of awareness?
Awareness is huge. Yes. Awareness is very important. knowing and body awareness. I'm a Pilates instructor, and it's about body awareness. When we become more aware of our body, we have better postural alignment. When we have better postural alignment, everything works more efficiently in our body. So yes, awareness for cancer, so important. Know your body. Know when something's not right. Go for your checkups. And I really, excuse me, really encourage the 3D mammogram, yes, and ultrasound, especially if you were like me and had dense breasts, that the 3D mammogram is very important, and getting an ultrasound as well. So yes, go for your checkups, for your scans, and follow all of that, and do what you can to prevent getting that call in the first place. So that's also a different group of awareness. That is now awareness. Well, what can I do to prevent cancer? Get lean and get mean. Get that body into shape, right? Yeah, get your body into shape. Start reading your labels. What are you putting in your body? You know, I always say, some people are more concerned about the gas and oil they put in their car rather than what they're putting in their bodies, right? So it's really important. Read your labels, see what's going in that body, because you want this body to work as efficiently as possible, especially since we've all gone through this pandemic. I am very grateful that I did not get COVID. I did not get the virus. I had all 3 shots and the booster, and I did not get it. And I'm still wearing my mask, even though around here, people, you don't have to, but I'm not ready yet, you know. We can do whatever we can to stay as healthy as we can be and avoid getting that call in the first place. And you know, that's the best we can do. That's the best we can do.
Right, Chrissy. So, Chrissy, one last question will be, if you had to sum up your journey in one sentence, what would that be? Like a motivational sentence which you always kept close to your heart.
Remain present. Those are so important, those words for me. And you know, cancer-free life. And I thought of those words the whole time, summing up my journey. To make it through, I remained present, focus on the positives. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Oh, that's a loaded question. I could think, you know, a lot of things I could say, and there's so much about this. Yes.
Right.
And research works. Yes.
Great. That's good. So thank you so much, Chrissy, for being a part of the session today. And I'm pretty sure that the session will really motivate people out there who's currently battling through the journey. So thank you so much once again.
I thank you so much for this opportunity to help somebody else. Yeah. And let's just all have a fit, healthy rest of the day, right? Thank you so much for your time.